Guess what we have today? I'm going to show you what to say to sound more British. This is Daily English of British natives. This is going to show you the idiosyncrasies of English people. That means just what makes them unique. So you're learning daily English and also British culture. What are we waiting for? Let's get started. How to respond to how are you? Trust me, we ask this a lot. Not bad, can't complain. Not bad, can't complain. Same old, can't complain. As you can see here, our response to how are you is often pretty underwhelming. It's not overly dramatic and exciting. It's quite down-tempo and we're quite modest. We don't really like to show off that much. We tend to tone it down a lot when we're answering that question, how are you? Of course, people do say, I'm great, how are you? But these are typical British responses. Even if an English person has just won the lottery, they would still answer with that. Not bad, can't complain. Same old, same old. Hilarious. Number 2, asking someone out on a date. Now, British people tend to have a very laid-back approach. That means relaxed approach to dating. So if you're going to ask someone out in Britain, make sure you keep it quite light-hearted and casual. Would you like to go out for a drink? Would you like to go out for a drink? I think it's the most sincere way of asking. It's the one I like the best. But you could also say, do you fancy dinner on Wednesday night? Do you fancy dinner on Wednesday night? Do you fancy meeting for a drink on Monday night? Very relaxed, very casual, not too much pressure. You're giving them plenty of opportunity to say no and to say no easily. Luckily, it has changed since the olden days when people were more likely to say, would you do me the honour in accompanying me to the ball? Comment down below which approach you prefer, formal or informal. Number 3, the response to how did it go? How did it go? The person could be asking about a difficult exam or a presentation you were worried about at work, and they're asking, how did it go? It was an absolute doddle. In the end, it was an absolute doddle. Doddle means really easy. It was an absolute breeze, we can say too. Just so easy. You're not really sure why you were worried, because it was just so easy. Now, if the opposite is the case, you can say, oh, it was a bit of a shambles. Again, we always tone down when something is bad. We tone it down so that it's softer. It's just what we do. It was a bit of a shambles. It didn't go well. Number 4, how to react to good news. So someone tells you something really good that's happened and you want to sound really supportive and like happy for them. Oh, I'm thrilled to bits for you. Oh, I'm chuffed to bits for you. Here we can say thrilled to bits or chuffed to bits. Thrilled is a bit more difficult to pronounce. You've got to do that thrilled. Bit tricky. In British culture, we do like to be quite enthusiastic. We love to just go all out in saying, well done, like, what a great achievement. Oh, I'm chuffed to bits for you. So if someone says, I've just got engaged, or I've just been promoted, I've got a new dog, I've wanted one for ages, or I've decided to run a marathon, you can use these responses for any of those examples. Number 5, making hot drinks at the office. Doesn't have to be an office, just your workplace, where you have colleagues. Fancy a cuppa, anyone? Fancy a cuppa, anyone? Sometimes this is actually the scariest part of a job. Because British people are really picky about how they like their tea. I remember I was a temp once, which means I was a temporary contract worker for Mercedes, and I was a secretary. and the worst part of the whole job was asking everyone if they wanted any tea or coffee, or some people would say, oh yeah, leave the bag in. Oh, 2 sugars and leave the bag in. Oh, take the bag out after 5 seconds, 5 sugars. And I had to remember this big order of tea. It was so stressful. Tea and coffee is a really important part of our culture. Hot drinks are a great invention to give everyone a little pause. When they're working hard, just to have a pause and a breather, just to reflect and chat to each other. You could also say what Tom says at his office, which is simply, tea, anyone? He says that because he actually doesn't drink coffee, so he wants to make it really clear that the coffee is not an option. It's just tea. If anyone wants tea, He'll make it. Number 6, what to say when someone asks what you're having for dinner. And if you're having a really British dinner, you might say, bangers and mash. Bangers and mash. What do you think that is? So bangers is slang for sausages. I'm not quite sure why we call them bangers. I think it has something to do with fireworks. Bangers and mash is sausages and mashed potato. It's delicious and very comforting in the autumn and winter seasons. Number 7, what to say when someone asks how you're feeling after you've been ill. Maybe you've been off work, which means not at work because of an illness like a flu or something worse. If you're still a little bit ill, you can say, I'm much better, but I'm not 100% yet. I'm much better, but I'm not 100% yet. That's a really nice way to say, I'm still feeling pretty rough. Life is hard, but I'm alive. Or if you're feeling great and you're 100% better, you can say, oh, I'm full of beans. Oh, I'm full of beans now. One of the best expressions ever in British English. Full of beans means full of energy. Imagine like beans just like bouncing around all in your body. So strange. Number 8, what to say when someone asks how your home renovations are going. So say you're having an extension put on your house, or you're having new carpets fitted, or you're painting the walls a different colour. Sometimes this comes up in conversation, especially at work and in small talk. We've had a few hiccups, but everything's going smoothly now. We've had a few hiccups, but everything is going smoothly now. So maybe a few things went wrong, you maybe chose the wrong colour at first for the walls or something, or maybe it just didn't go to plan in some way. That's called a hiccup. A hiccup is sort of like an obstacle that comes up and you have to get over it. Very often with British culture, we'll give a sort of negative thing and then we'll immediately follow it with a positive, just to, balance things out. So we're saying there were a few hiccups, but everything's going smoothly now. Peace has been restored. Number 9, what to say when someone asks how someone else is. So maybe someone's asking after your sister or your mum or your dad if they've been ill or if they've gone through a really difficult time. How's your mum doing now? Is she doing okay? She's still a bit down in the dumps actually, but she's feeling better every day. So to be down in the dumps is just to be a bit depressed really. Again, it's a British way of saying something quite negative in a soft way. So we don't really want to be too direct when it comes to things like depression. Thankfully that is changing and people are a bit more direct about mental health, but down in the dumps is just a softer way to say it. For example, maybe you don't want to share that you feel depressed, right? And you just want to say it in a more kind of indirect way. That's a perfect expression for that. Number 10, the last one. What to say all the time. This is a great response to really anything at all. You say it when you're in agreement with someone, kind of like just a positive reaction. Lovely. Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. Sometimes we even say lovely jubbly. That's really native. I dare you to say it. For example, if someone's accepted your invitation to come over for dinner, they've said yes, you can say, oh, lovely. Ah, lovely. Really quick, really short, does the job. Bonus information. You can also use lovely in sarcasm. You know, the British sense of humour is very unusual, very unique, and we use sarcasm a lot in our sort of dark sense of humour. So if you say, oh, lovely weather outside, isn't it? Oh, what a lovely day. Using that tone of voice tells me that the weather is not good and you're being sarcastic. So it could be absolutely tipping it down outside, and the British way is to use sarcasm to say, lovely, lovely weather, isn't it? Don't worry, I'm going to make a video about the British sense of humour. It's on my list. I just haven't gotten around to doing it yet. Please forgive me. Well, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed that. It's always so funny to analyse our British isms and what makes us British. It's actually great to learn about a culture when you're learning a language. It makes it way more fun. So I'm going to go and make myself a cuppa now, and I think you should do the same. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone, and I'll see you next Friday. Bye.